Welcome everyone back to another anime review. This is going to be on Rewrite's ninth episode or episode 21 or 22. I think it's 21. If you're doing it by by that episode count, and we're back with some more Rewrite. Now this episode is pretty much straightforward. We got more information on what Kotaro's activities are with Gaia and with Guardian, but it goes more into the Gaia sort of side with his double agent sort of thing that he has going on in order to help Kagari have fond memories in order to save the planet, which is by stopping the conflict between Gaia and Guardian, which has been going on since forever. So we delve a bit more into the Gaia side and a bit more of how Kotaro as a whole is trying to climb his way up the ladder and get, I guess the trust of Suzuki or whatever the heck his name is. Sorry if that is his name. I think that's not his name, but just too many things to keep track of. And so he's trying to move up the ladder and gain the trust and the confidence and respect in the organization of Gaia or Martel, which is Martel is a front for them. And so this entire episode is mainly about him and Gaia. So there are small little snippets with him, in Guardian, but in this episode we get more of the Gaia side. Now this is a very interesting thing, is that this a lot of episodes we get more information about the two different factions, a bit more of Suzuki or Suzaki or whatever his name was, of the other part of the Gaia faction that doesn't want the world to end and basically wants to, as any normal company would, try to reap in the profits, get in that cash, let's be rich. And so what he's trying to do is he doesn't want the world to end, so he's constantly at odds with Kashima Sakura, who wants the world to end. But then we basically get the thing that says that the key is responsible for it, and that the Earth would not be able to end it without the world, without having the key act as its sensory organs and giving it the okay to, like, okay, the world is pretty shit, I'm just gonna end it right now. And so what Suzuki essentially just gives up on trying to essentially trying to give up power, I guess, or overthrow Kashima, and says that it's inevitable that the key will probably win. And so he basically shows us the City of Stone. Now, if you're a visual novel player, the City of Stone is visited in some of the routes, and and I think in the common route you sometimes stumbled in there, but it isn't really explained what it is until later on, and when you enter the different routes and all of that. And so having it finally make a full explained appearance is really refreshing. And that I like these types of anime and these types of anime episodes in general, which they give you a lot of interesting tidbits and facts. So whenever there's usually a season full of generic harem ecchi anime, I usually stay away from those. It's ridiculously funny. Keijo is one of them. I know that it's on a harem, and it's kind of classified as an ecchi, I guess. If it was to look at the tags on Crunchyroll or something. But I enjoyed it because of the comedy and just how fun it was. Not like fun, but like fun. Like I get laughs out of it. While watching that, I really enjoy it, and I really want to continue. And so this episode, Rewrite delivers more on it. Even though people were saying like the first season was trash, well, it wasn't the greatest thing on earth. Now you have to take the reviews, especially on my anime list or all that anime chart, or subjective towards the people. Now there are a lot of mainstream people who hate the anime because their brain cells, they're not working together. You can smash them as many times you want together to try to get a response, but you won't find anything there. They're more the flashy type of people, I would have to say. I don't know that that's the case in Japan. I would think they're a bit more open-minded and a bit more inquisitive thinkers if you were to compare it towards the West. I think it would be a bit irresponsible of me to say that the West is full of people who just want action. That's certainly not is the case. But in America, currently where I'm living at, it's kind of hard not to draw that conclusion when you're surrounded by freaking idiots everywhere, including in school. Something that happened on Friday kind of made that assumption a bit more true for me. And this episode, as I said before, is really straightforward. There isn't much to say. We got a lot of information and how far Kotaro is willing to go to help Kagari achieve her goals. And basically, he's really straightforward. So we get a lot of his actions pointing towards him being, I'm gonna do this 100%. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna help Kagari do it. But in the end of the episode, if if you've watched it, which you should probably do, because most of my reviews usually have spoilers in them, and is that he's ordered to make Sukuno, or Nagai, as she is known back during the earlier episodes when she was with Guardian, and Akane, who was chosen as the next saint. Remember from the first season? So the second season, it carries over to here. That it's to make them disappear, and that there will be, after that, Suzuki, whatever the frick his face name is, will be will be the one to dispose of both of them, which is obviously killing them. But this entire plan is foiled because Sakura Kashima already knows, the entirety of the plan since the operation is canceled, and it's revealed that Kotaro was the one who um, gave the information to Sakura in order to help her, help her survive, and thus rendering the entire thing moot. And so she has to explain why the thing failed, why the Gaia isn't as fractured as it could have been if if he didn't give the information to Kashima. And so Kagari goes into a bit of a rampage because she gains human emotions, and Kotaro does it. He finally kisses, physical contact, mouth on mouth, saliva on saliva, salivation. I really like the animation during that scene when she was having her berserk ribbon scene. Seeing it animated was a really neat treat, I would have to say. It didn't have to be over the top, but I really did like how there was like after images and all that showing that these ribbons are extremely dangerous and fast, as how in the visual novel it was described as so from Kotaro's perspective. And with him doing the kiss, some people might think it's forced. But I do believe when I first read through the visual novel, I really did believe that it kind of came out of nowhere, because instead of like with other girl, the five girl routes in during in the original routes before Moon and Terra, it kind of makes sense why he would go out with them, because he's spending so much time with them. He's getting to know them, and he gets put into their respective arcs and stuff, and that he's basically always around them. They're always interacting. And with Kagari, it seems like he's more of the errand boy. He always has his little thoughts about, yeah, why do I like her? And there is a scene from the visual novel or a line from it saying, why am I doing this? I don't even like her much in the first place. What are these feelings? And it's all theorized from the theory of life. Now, this isn't so much as a spoiler, as they're obviously never going to freaking explain it much in the future episodes, the last remaining episodes that we have, I assume. So I'm just going to say that the theory is essentially pushing him onto the correct paths, like the important choices that he has to make in order for Earth to succeed. And so all this happening, it's it's a lot of people, including me, when they like kind of assumed, oh wait, so everything's being dictated by Kotaro, so it's kind of like an outside force influencing it, kind of like a static novel. And so a lot of people, whenever they play a visual novel, case in point, it's more of a thing like, oh, I don't have direct control, unless it's a kinetic visual novel which has no choices at all, which they're pretty interesting for reads and stuff, but I usually don't read them much because it kind of takes away from you having choices as a character. Even though you picked a bad choice and you have to go back and reload the previous save, kind of makes sense, because usually these visual novels, whether they outright say it or not, they all have multiple timelines, so it's like, who knows, right? And so the episode ends with Kagari running off after her kiss with Kotaro, and then the scene centering onto the moon. Now, this is a very fun thing I would have to say of how they ended the episode with a shot of the moon, because that's where Moon Kagari is. And if you haven't figured out already, there are two Kagaris, one on the Earth and one on the moon. And from the moon arc, that was the Moon Kagari. So I kind of had to explain things for people who kind of don't get it and don't want to read the visual novel. There is going to be an official visual novel release of Rewrite Plus with new CGs, fixed plot holes, I think I remember, and enhanced resolutions and all that. Also includes the Fandis Harvest Festa, so that should be good. And that's about it all for my review. I didn't really think I should have done a review for this episode, but I decided to do it just because there was just some things I wanted to talk about in the episode, and I was just like, okay, just do the review. And it was more or less of a review, this video, than of an explanation of why certain things occurred and why certain things are happening, for those who still want to know a bit more and just don't want to go look at the source material, or genuinely still confused and haven't picked up on the things. This isn't meant as a critique to people who don't want to read the source material. It's just my way of trying to help you guys without you having to wade through waves of text and possibly getting insulted by people saying you should read this. I don't care, you don't have any time. I'm a super elitist. I'm gonna go super elite 1, 2, 3. Oh Jesus! And so that's about it for my review of Rewrite for this episode. Next week, we're obviously going to get a bit more into the bigger aspects of what's going to happen later on in the Terror route. And it's obviously this episode, even though it was kind of slow paced, some people, some of my friends are like, hey, it was a slow paced episode. It's a build up episode, and a build up episode doesn't have to have a lot of tension. like high tension. This one had just the right amount of tension. You knew that there are stakes involved, world ending. You know, Kotaro's position in Gaia, the whole thing of Guardian of him betraying his friends, and Asaka having a great deal of faith in him, and he's essentially going betraying and playing both sides. Like it's poker. And so that's about all really I have to say about this episode. I have no idea why there's so much hate. I mean, if you want to have a bad anime get so much hate, you should go like look up some weird generic harem anime or another visual novel adaptation that should have been easier to implement and convert into anime format if they just did one route, or they just did an original anime story that isn't complete shit that could fit in the span of 13 episodes. Which is why a lot of people say every time there's a visual novel adaptation, it's complete shit. Madhouse is at fault for freaking Chaos Head travesty anime. There was also a bunch of other visual novel animes, only 12, 13 episodes that got shit on. Rosario plus Vampire is a prime example of it not being a visual novel anime adaptation, but they fucked it up and decided to make it a generic harem anime because why not? Because I've read the manga for that. That shit's amazing. But enough about me going off topic. What do you guys think of the episode in general? Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I have a Twitter account also. If you want to follow it, I highly recommend you do so though. I do Twitter updates on the channel. You can hang out with me on there and all that jazz. I also have a Patreon. It's not mandatory for you to go and support the channel, but it's an option for those that want to do it. And also share the video as well. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Right on out. See y'all later. Bye.